Hello and welcome back to the Lord's Last Play. I'm your host, Megan Ben, and in our space today, we have members from the men's rugby team. To my right, we have the captain, Patrick Lynch. On my left, we have Ethan Montgomery, and on my far left, we have Tyler Janes. How are you guys doing today, boys?
Pretty good, yeah.
Good,
Pretty
thank
good,
you.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, let's get into the nitty gritty of it. You guys are rugby players. Shout out to you. I'm also a rugby player, so it's kind of fun to have fellow rugby people in the space today. Let's talk about your season. So looking at your regular season standings, you guys had a bit of a rocky start to your season, and I know we're just diving right in, but you also walked away with some really good wins. What clicked with you guys to get to that point?
So I think, to be honest with you, I think it was team chemistry throughout the rest of the season started to build. Like at the beginning, the boys didn't really know how to flow together, didn't know how to find their voices on the field. And then towards the end of the season, I think we really started to gel as a unit and started guys started picking up their leadership responsibilities out there on the field and stepping into those roles that we needed them to be. So yeah, I think it was just like kind of team morale just kind of boosted towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really felt that as well. As the season started to roll up at the beginning, we started to get more in tune with each other, especially off like those lineouts, by those kind of moments that are very crucial to be together in tune. And I think just the natural energy we were all being able to present to each other and being there for each other at the same time, all there for to learn, really kind of helped us step up to get us to the point where we were. And I think it was really a really good improvement, especially for as the season went on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, the boys covered it. The biggest thing for me was just that positionally, I think it was difficult at first because we didn't know who played what or who played where. So figuring that out in game is always a bit hectic, and the score line won't go as to plan. But no, figured it out, and we started cooking. So yeah.
Okay, I like to hear it. So you guys had some big wins and some tough losses. Speaking of loss, looking back at the quarterfinals and your loss to Georgian, and I think that was probably, not trying to rub salt in the wound, but that was probably your earliest exit in Lord's rugby history. Hindsight is always 2020, but what do you think you could have done differently to walk away with a win and head on to the semis?
Honestly, with Georgian, I think beginning half of the game, we just started off a little too flat. The boys should have came off the line a little harder. And other than that, I think we played pretty good that whole game. We played kind of against two people that game. It's a little bit of the ref, a little bit of the team itself. Georgian was a good team. They trained really hard to get to play against us. They had a great defense. They came off the line. They had a lot of passion in that game, and the boys stuck to it. If I think we just played a little more intense at the beginning of the game, I think we would have had a solid game there, and we could have came out with the W there, but we didn't, sadly. So
Okay. Ethan?
Yeah, I feel like it was unfortunate that we didn't quite get those two previous games before the season started with the opening. I feel like that would have really kind of helped set the milestones that we needed, and especially the tone that we kind of had. Even at the beginning, we didn't have it as much as we probably would have with a team that may have been a bit older with some more experience. But with just what we had, I feel like it would have been nice to be able to really shoot off a line there a little more earlier and kind of help establish what positions would have been good and all that. Would have helped us prepare a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, Monty touched on it there. Like we said, Georgian has a lot more vets than our squad would. They have a good unit. They have good coaching. They're no team to mess with. So, coach said at the beginning of the game, let's play to our strengths and let's try to get away from theirs. And their strengths are the big boys up the middle. And we sadly got roped into that. I think a bit. The boys were getting sucked in, so fell short there. But yeah.
Okay. That speaking of which, so how was your team dynamic this year then? Because previous years, like you mentioned, like you're usually a kind of a vet-heavy team, and now you have a lot of new faces. How do you think that changed up from previous years to now?
I can start on it if you like. For me, I was here 3 years ago when we had our gold medal team. So I've seen a team. I've seen a full 15 starting team with vets. I've seen the glory days. So. Transitioning over, I would say the biggest difference was, when you're on the field and you're in the huddle or you're in the change room before the game, we would have, 10 stern voices telling you what to do, firing you up, bringing up the volume, bringing the boys together, So having the lack of that this season was definitely something to work with. You know, a few boys had to step up, had to fill the boots. So that's definitely some transition that was difficult for us, or it was a good work on.
Mm-hmm. So Patty, you were part of many gold medal teams, and you took a year away from the team. How does it feel to be back now?
Bittersweet, kind of. Obviously, with the way the season ended, obviously I wanted a little bit more out of the season. But also, it's great stepping back into the jersey, back in the gold and green, and representing the school. Yeah, so just bittersweet. Like, always love to be a part of the Lords and helping out the program and building it up. Hopefully, depending on how things go, I want to be around and help out again next year. If not, then it is what it is. But yeah, it's just love it and hate it at the same time, you know?
Yeah. And you are with your second year with the team now?
Yes,
and how does it feel to be not a rookie anymore?
Man, it was quite an introduction for me for that college level, stepping in, and a lot of these bigger guys, especially some of those vets that TJ was talking about from last year. It was such an opening experience to just see what that kind of level of rugby looked like. And coming into my second year, it kind of helped ground me, especially for this, and help kind of bring in that kind of energy I feel like we needed throughout the season, and kind of help bring everyone together, because it was kind of weird being there my first time, so I felt like I could sympathize with these guys a bit more, this kind of rookie team.
Mm-hmm. And so, Tyler, are you returning next fall for rugby?
Not confirmed yet. Not confirmed, not denied. We'll leave it up to the
Ethan, are you coming back next year?
I am. I got one more year.
You got one more year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that being said, you identified the gaps of not having those stern voices to hype up the team. Is that a role that you both are willing to step into for next year?
Absolutely.
100%. Yeah. Me and Monty are already involved with the leadership squad, so we've been involved. I've been involved for 2 years now. This is his first year, so we're climbing up and up. We're ready to go. We're ready to lead.
Especially with this group of guys, too. I feel very confident that we were able to really establish what our roles were this year, and coming into this next year, I feel like it'll be definitely more of a cakewalk to kind of start things up and get that energy going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think all the way around, like, having those rebuild years are very crucial for success, and sometimes when you don't have the time to really build your foundational assets and get the ground nice and firm underneath you, that looking down the line, you get into places where your program falls apart. So I think identifying that you guys have room to grow, and that it's always going to be on the up and up, because you can only stay down for so long. I think it's really nice that that insight comes from within the team and not just from a coach's perspective. Mm-hmm. Speaking of good things to come, so Mr. Tyler Janes, you are now the leading point scorer for men's rugby. How does it feel to hold that record?
It feels good. It feels good. I'm just grateful for the boys. And you know, when you're a kicker and your team scores every try in the middle of the post, it's pretty easy to rack up points. But yeah, I'm proud of the boys, proud of myself.
Okay,
yeah.
Name's gonna go down in history.
Yeah.
Let's have some fun. It's my favorite part of the segment, some most likelies, and these will be good. Okay, so we are a rugby team. Rugby injuries are a dime a dozen. Who on the team is most likely to get injured in a game?
Ryan Scott.
Oh, that came so quickly. Sorry, Ryan.
I don't know, man. Every time I looked over, there's just something wrong with him. I don't know.
I'll second that. Love you, Ryan.
I love him. I love him.
I think it's between Ryan Scott and Kieran. I'm not gonna lie, Kieran. Guy leads head first with everything. So
there's been a few of those. I don't understand how he got up. It was crazy.
He's got a tough skull. Shout out Kieran, bro.
Kieran. Okay, so on the flip side, who's most likely to get injured, but it would not come from a game scenario?
Sam Ang.
I wanted to say the late and great, not late and great, Devin Parson, who we'll shout him out real quick. Before one of our important games, went ATVing and threw his 300-pound self, 320-pound self into the ground, broke tib fib. So yeah, probably shout out Devin Parson for that one.
We love Devin. Okay, who is the funniest on the team? If you need to pick me up and you need to laugh like there's no tomorrow, who's the guy?
So I have two answers here. So one's going to be a guy that's not on purpose funny. He just the way he is. It just makes me laugh all the time. That's Matthew Frito.
Gian Frito.
Oh. Yeah, definitely Frito. That guy makes me die of laughter all the time, and he's not even trying.
Nope.
And then I think the funniest guy on our team, like that actually has jokes, is low-key Owen McKinnon. He's a quiet dude, but he says some funny stuff sometimes when he does get him talking.
He knows the right moments to.
Yeah, he's witty.
Who on the team is most likely to forget their keys before a game?
So there was a situation that I kind of got involved in with just some timing issues. We were on our way off to Algonquin, Ottawa. It's quite a long trip, and just right before the bus had to leave, I realized that I thought it was a regular practice rather than us getting to the practice and then hopping on the bus right after.
That's crazy.
I was not.
Monty didn't know he was going to Ottawa.
I know. So with all the time I had left, I swear it was like 15 minutes. I had to go back home, grab my stuff, and come back.
Where is home for you?
About a 30-minute drive.
Or are you an Uxbridge boy?
Whippy.
Whippy. Okay.
Shores.
Okay. That's not as bad. Oh gosh. Wait, do you guys not check your emails from Doug? Actually, I feel like this is a theme among the men's rugby team. Do you guys check your emails at all?
So-
Not
Yes.
just from Doug.
I check,
Say
We
yes.
do check our emails, but communication is a thing on our team.
Okay.
We get hit in the head a lot.
As a rugby player, I concur. Okay, this one, we kind of touched on it before, but who is most likely to talk back to the ref in the game?
So
Who's gonna say it?
with that one, I'm not gonna call any specific names out today.
Fair.
There's a bunch of the boys that
We were all guilty at some point.
they would love to give the ref a little word. But one guy, actually no, I'm gonna call one guy out because he low-key got a red card at the end of the game on against Georgian, and that was Cayenne King.
What did he do?
Love the kid, but he looked the ref in the face and called him a joke. So
You guys are bad.
Soft.
It's soft in terms of what he could have said, but definitely
Kyan loves to
Little
win.
strike
He's a
there.
fireball.
He's got a lot of
great guy, great player, a lot of emotion.
Fireball.
See, that's so weird. When guys do it, it's emotions.
Yeah.
It's passion.
Yeah.
When girls do it, we're moody. Okay? Like, I personally, the only time I talk back to a ref is like during a scrum. Okay? So, like, I talk to my captain so that the ref can hear, so it doesn't have to be misconstrued if my captain goes into it. But I'm just like, they're not binding correctly, Maya, and of
And they'll
course-
still get mad sometimes.
Well, the ref is right
Yeah.
there. He can hear.
Yeah.
And then she'll turn to him and he'll be like, I heard it. And I was like,
Well-
Yeah.
I'm so glad you did. Thank you. Okay. Who's most likely to trip over their own feet before getting to the try line?
So we actually had two incidences this year. Two guys diving at a 5 meter line, thinking it's the try line. So
That's
we're gonna have to
great.
give it to those two. It's Ryan Scott and Cayenne King. Tough go to those
Ryan
guys.
Oh,
Ryan
man.
Scott had a absolutely highlight reel dive
It was amazing.
into the 5 meter line. He was happy. We were all happy for him, but
No one
he
near
did
him.
not get
I was
it.
behind both of them as they made that line break, and the way that they looked when they scored it,
Yeah.
because we always had like say score the try
Yeah.
when you're going down, but he went down with so much confidence,
Oh,
and I was looking at him like, where do you think you are? And
Swagger.
He's like, oh, we scored. And I'm like, you're 5 meters off.
That's crazy.
I'm like, oh no.
So wait.
Panic.
Where were these? Were these at home or were
This was out in Algonquin when Ryan Scott did it. I think they're both at Algonquin.
No,
Cayenne's was home game, wasn't it?
Cayenne's was at Algonquin, and then Ryan Scott's was at home game.
yeah,
And
exactly.
Ryan Scott's one was really tough, really, because there was no one near him. Like,
Yeah.
literally, like, I'm talking wide open. If he just kept running, he's scoring that, and he dives, and then he realizes, and he just turns with the fear of God in his eyes to present that ball back. And, it was just a tough go for the kid, because he would have had points up there.
We need to talk to our field painters, man. Make it really clear that this is the end zone. Okay. Okay, we kind of talked about this. Who's most likely to cause a scuffle with the other team during a game?
I like to present to you Tyler James.
Tyler
Yeah,
James
you're-
over
you're
here.
mouthy.
You want to talk about passion?
I just love to win, boys. That's all it is. I just love to win.
My favorite moment on the field, actually, I'm surprised there wasn't a scuffle after this, is Tyler James gets the ball, goes for a run. Guy they're 9 on Seneca, runs up to tackle him. He stiff arms him in the face and then yells, "Cal, you suck," and proceeds to run down the field and stiff arm 3 more guys and then get tackled to
So
go
do
down.
you know this?
I'm
kid?
sorry, Kyle. Kyle's a good guy. It was a heat of the moment thing. Patty, I wish you wouldn't have exposed me. Kyle's a great guy. It's just a heat of the moment thing.
Apologize to Kyle.
I'm sorry, Kyle. We all love each other.
It was hilarious,
From the depths
though.
of our heart, Kyle, we are
Kyle,
We
we're
love you,
sorry.
man.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
love you, Kyle.
Okay, and the last most likely, who on the team has the best Riz? Okay, I'm talking like leaps and bounds over everybody else.
I'm gonna throw a wild card out here. Trayvon Green.
Trayvon.
Trey, my boy Trey.
Okay.
See,
Yeah, my boy Trey.
Some people just got a natural, and
They just come to Trey.
When you break down to this guy,
Yeah.
he knows where his moves at, and he doesn't shy off his.
He doesn't have to
opportunity.
do anything. That's the real Riz. They just come to him.
It's so
you know what I mean?
it's beautiful.
Okay, so
It's Trey.
what's something Trey would say that you would say it's got the Riz factor?
It's not so much what he would say because that's not where his power lies. It's more his actions and his
okay.
physique, and then like just it's the full package. You know what I
the
mean?
full
It's just
package?
Trey.
The
When
way
you
he
see him,
moves.
you know.
Okay.
Yeah, you know.
Sheer physical dominance.
Yeah.
Is Trey single?
Trey is single,
Trey's
ladies.
single.
Ladies,
Trey's
I don't
Trey's
know.
single.
I don't know what
Oh.
if he's had any situationships or anything like that, but
That's
he's
crazy.
single, ladies.
Exposing his
Probably
entire love life.
too many to work
Yeah.
with.
Oh, you guys kill me. Okay, moving on to our next segment. Calming myself down. What piece of advice would you give to high school athletes who want to pursue post-secondary athletics?
I'd say highly just believe in the process, and especially where you are, be calm with yourself and understand that sometimes when you're entering a new space, it can be a little scary, a little new. It can just be a new thing that you're kind of processing, but just understand that with just the experience of being through it, that it'll get easier, and especially with that, you'll find that there'll be opportunities for you to shine and to really kind of bring out, especially like what you want to bring, with if it's passion or if you understand that you have things that you want to bring to the table, your opportunity will come, and just be willing to wait for it and be patient.
I like that.
I would just say, like, really pay attention to what your position does. First year in the league, depending on kind of like what your skill talents and skill sets are to bring to the team, it depends on what you'll be doing. So certain coaches might start you, certain coaches might put you on the bench, certain coaches might take you off. If you really know what you're supposed to be doing and you have the IQ to be able to be on that field, the skill sets will come. They'll bring you up to that level. You just need to know what you got to do and be a guy that gives everything, right? A lot of passion will bring you a long way. My first year in the league, a few years back, I didn't really know rugby that well, but the one thing I did do was I worked harder than everybody else on the field, and I wanted to learn, and I was a sponge. So if you just come in, soak up as much information as you can, and show the coaches you're willing to play, I think you have a very good shot of either starting or even just being an impact player coming off the bench.
Good advice, good advice. Mr. James?
Well, they touched on the athlete part, a student athlete, but I think it's also important to, I'd say learn how to study. Make sure you know how to study well. The coaches will always tell you, your school comes before your rugby. So being a good all-encompassing student athlete, I think you really got to be diligent with your schoolwork. You really got to be, just on top of everything.
Okay, those are really good pieces of advice. So, taking that into account, what would you go back and say to yourself in your first year?
There's a lot of things I would have said to myself back in my first year, but very first one is just be trust the process, believe in yourself. Back then I struggled a lot with not understanding what coaches wanted of me and like where I exactly fit in with a bunch of like socially or even just like on the field. So for me, I think I would have just told myself really trust the process and trust in who you are. A lot of that played into just how I ended up becoming a captain and just how I ended up just being like a good role model for the boys. I just put my head down and did the work. And before, I just struggled a lot mentally with the fact that I didn't really know like if what I was doing was the right thing or not. And I would just tell myself I was doing the right thing. So just to trust that.
I really agree with that. It definitely was similar with me. I had a lot of just a lot of barriers that I felt like I needed to break through, but what I was really doing to myself was trying to maybe accelerate it, and like I was just being a little too hard. But it really does come with just taking a breather and understanding yourself more, because you're not you're not doing it for anyone else. You're doing it for yourself. And it's good to be in tune with your body, with your mind, and with that, it really leaves an opportunity to grow. And it's important to touch on, and I feel like if you focus on that a bit earlier, you can definitely achieve probably a lot more.
Yeah.
Again, I'm going to talk about school. I would tell myself to
You
just
struggle on school?
No,
or-
it's not that I struggled. It's just that I've always thought I could do better, and I wasn't fully 100% applying myself. So I didn't get the marks that I wanted to. I didn't get the 90 pluses. So I think just really getting your habits down first year, because then when you're in fifth year or whatever, like Patty, you're good. You're cooking. You know what I mean? Sorry.
But it's fair. No, because exactly that's it. Like for me, being passionate about what you're taking, so figuring out what that is takes you a long way. Whether it's sports or schooling or anything, because for me, I took trades my first few years. I had fun doing that, but it wasn't really necessarily something that I was passionate about, so I didn't really get the grades I wanted, didn't do the commitment to it that I really did. But now that I'm in fitness and health promotions, for me, I show up every day. I'm excited to learn what I'm learning. I get good grades now. I do struggle in some classes just because they're hard classes, but it's a struggle that I enjoy, not a struggle that I'm like, oh, why do I have to go do this? Or I'm just going to skip that class because I don't feel like it, right? So yeah, just trust yourself and trust your process and believe in what you're doing is correct, right? So just find something that you enjoy and get after it.
I think this is really important. I went to the Ontario Colleges Fair and I was talking with potential student athletes, and that's something I really had to drive home. And I said, like, you are a student athlete, not an athlete student. So make sure the program that you're choosing to pursue is something that you're passionate about and something that you're going to enjoy showing up to every day. Because your season is always so long, but your classes are the entire school year.
Yeah.
So make sure you're choosing something that you're going to wake up every day and be like, at least I can tolerate. Like, I don't want you to just tolerate it. I want you to enjoy it. But at the bare minimum, choose something that you're going to tolerate going to.
Yeah.
And I've struggled with that myself. And so it's a little bit harder for me this year to show up and go to class. I'm still going. It's still something I'm interested in. But, like, it's definitely a little bit different from what my passion was before. And this is really just a career move. But, like, waking up every day and really enjoying the classes, really wanting to engage with your professors goes such a far way when you're going to school and you're training every hours of the day. Like, you got to find those little pockets of joy throughout your school day. Okay. And this is my last question of the segment. What is your favorite part about being a Durham College athlete? And you should have 5 years worth of things to say that are your favorite.
Let's hear it.
I'll let these guys go first.
Yeah, I'll start it off. Not much time to think here. I think just being a part of a team. For me, coming into the school, coming into your classes, you have your head down maybe the first week or so. You're not fully engaging. You're not looking for friends if you're introverted or whatever. So I think having a team of 36 guys that you can just go and immediately, you're hugging the boys, like you become brothers within a matter of, maybe 3 training sessions. So having the boys, 36 boys is my favorite part of it. I just love it. Love the boys.
It was definitely just it's just the environment. I've never seen it anywhere else, being able to walk in and feel like you're going to be a part of something. And I feel like after a while, you start to understand what is going to be demanded of you. And then you're able to kind of understand that you can step up and you can be a part of something even better if you just put the work in, contribute. And it's just a lot of guys can encourage it too. They're there for you all the time. They bring you up when you need it. It's just, it's a great environment there for just enjoying yourself.
Yeah.
It's great.
So yeah, I've had a few seasons with the boys. So there's a few different things. So for me, on my self growth, I would say that being a part of a team always helps you learn different aspects of yourself. It helps you build confidence in yourself. It helps you make friends, family members, people that are going to be there for you no matter what. So for me, like, I'd just say, like, the biggest thing for me was just learning who I was throughout being a part of such an amazing program with a bunch of different boys through the years. And they've all showed me a different part of myself that I never knew I had, or that I knew that I needed to work on, from whether it was my frustrations, being able to control my anger in a certain way instead of just, lashing out at the boys, yelling at them because they're not listening to what I'm saying, or whether it was me knowing that I have to step up and show the boys that, you know what, this is what it takes to go out there and win, or this is what it takes to get good grades. I've never really been a person to excel in school, but the past few years I've started to step up. I got a couple honor rolls in college. Never got that my whole life until college, and I think rugby had a big part of that because I knew I had to hold a certain GPA. So I made sure I showed up to class and got my work done. So yeah, it's just the camaraderie you get from being on a team, building those relationships with your coaches or even with the other players on the team. It changes your life for the better. And I believe everyone, if they could, just find some type of team that you could be a part of, and it helps you grow as an individual.
Yeah.
You just know there's always a team there for you. There's always there's always a place for you.
That's
Right?
humans thrive off of relationships, right? So if we can make good ones, that's what you need.
I think that's so heartwarming. Like, I know at the end of the day, like on a practice day, if I'm having a bad day, I'm going to show up and I'm going to see like my sisterhood before me, and they're going to do everything in their power to like make me laugh. It doesn't matter how bad the day is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like our giggle queen, Emma Nagy, like you just look at her and she'll start laughing and you start laughing, and then all of a sudden like all of your troubles go away. And I think that's so important, is like going through school is so stressful. It's such a difficult transition from high school to now, or even like as a returning older person. I'm very old. As a returning older person, no, like you need that community. And that's my wish for everyone at the college, or not even just here, but like athletes everywhere and students everywhere, is that you find your people at school who are going to journey with you and help you get from, you know, point A at the beginning of your credential to point B. Because we all need people. And I think it's really heartwarming that you mentioned hugging. Like, you don't hear that a lot. I'm not trying to be sexist, but you don't hear that a lot.
I love hugging this guy right here.
So, like, I love to hear that you're like, yo, I want to come and I want to hug my bros. Like,
He's
that's
one
really
of the first
heartwarming.
ones there
100%.
most of the time.
Yeah.
You look like you
100%.
give good hugs.
I hug
so
the boys.
believe
I
that.
hug
You hug the boys? Okay. Well, boys, thank you so much for being here today. It's been so fun chatting with you. Please don't forget, you can follow the Media Hub on social media at DCSA Media Hub. You can also catch the boys on Instagram at Durham Lords Rugby. And as always, you can catch me on the women's rugby page at DCW Rugby. It's been so lovely chatting with you today and welcoming you to our space. It has been the Lords West Play with Megan Bent. See you later.